Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
Unpopular K-pop opinions because LESSERAFIM slayed the Jennifer Hudson show.
Really want to be here, so I was made to be here.
yeah,
So obviously,
really?
I'm just like wanting to get this over with and get on with my life. This is a big inconvenience for me.
1. FSM Entertainment. Literally, CBX might actually be out of EXO for good this time. Let's walk through this corporate hit job, because the more you look at it, the more disgusting it gets. Back in 2023, Chen, Baekhyun and Xiaomin, aka CBX, said we're done and tried to burn their SM contracts to the ground. It almost worked. They reached a settlement that looked like freedom on the surface. CBX gets solo autonomy under their own baby label INB 100, while EXO Group work stays under SM. Sounds clean, right? Wrong, because deep in the fine print was a FU clause straight out of a Bond villain contract. CBX agreed to cough up 10% of their solo revenue to SM in exchange for using EXO's name, branding or any SM-related intellectual property. That 10% clause? It's the loaded gun that's been firing non-stop ever since. Fast forward to 2024 and the trap snaps shut.
This is more than a laptop launch. This is a U launch.
SM says, hey besties, where's our 10%? CBX says eat poop, and SM sues for breach of contract. CBX doesn't just push back, they throw the entire legal kitchen sink. Civil suits, criminal complaints, administrative filings and document demands across every freaking venue in Korea. They accuse SM of hiding the real cost of distribution, allegedly lying about a 5.5% fee. Call them out for coercion and try to dig up every accounting document going back 13 years. They wanted blood, and the courts handed them a mop. 2025 rolls around and becomes a slow-mo car crash. 2 court-ordered mediations go down in flames, 0 settlement. So now the main case over that $430,000 in unpaid 10% fees is locked and loaded, heading back to court. Meanwhile, CBX is catching L's like they're collecting Pokemon cards. Korea's Law Times just lit a match under the fandom by reporting that CBX has lost 6 separate legal actions. Every petition, every complaint, every attempt to grab documents or stall proceedings has been thrown out. Other Korean outlets counted even more, tallying over a dozen humiliating losses when you include prosecutors, court admins, and ministry-level filings. Different sources count slightly different buckets, but the bottom line is bleak. They haven't won a single thing. The scoreboard is empty. And while CBX is bleeding in court, on October 27th, SM drops a bomb. An EXO fan meetings in December and a full group comeback album set for early 2026. The kicker? Even member Lay is included. But CBX is not. The poster's live. The coverage is out and it's crystal clear. Only Suho, Chanyeol, Do, Kai, Sihan and Lay are in the picture. CBX is being iced the F out. SM basically said, let's do an EXO 6 subunit and act like nothing's missing. And fans? Absolutely
this is
feral
an
in the
interesting
replies, as they should be.
situation. I wonder how the fans now feel, period.
Now let's dissect what these 6 losses really mean, and what they don't. No, they're not the final decision on the $430,000 breach of contract case, that one's still cooking. These are all the procedural battles CBX lost along the way, stuff like getting extra documents, pausing SM's actions or trying to get outside bodies to step in. But even if they're not the main case, they still matter. They tell you how the court is thinking. And right now, the court isn't buying what CBX is selling. They think their evidence is weak, their arguments are shaky and their complaints don't pass the legal smell test. So why is CBX getting dragged this hard? Here's the brutal breakdown.
I mean, we talked about this in the K-pop news video already, but the reality of this is it's very simple. If they signed a contract that says 10% is going to go to SM, refusal to pay the 10% is a breach of contract. It is what it is. Same as in Eugene's case. This is the same thing here. I'm not saying it's right that they should have paid 10%. I think it's a loan shark deal. I don't think they should have signed it, but they did though. I don't know why they signed it, but they did. So because they signed it, they have to pay it up. There's no other way around it. If they don't pay, then SM is legally right in this case. I don't know. This is a big L for CBX for refusing to pay. I don't think SM is the bad guy here. I mean, if you want to say the bad guy for the loan shark contract, sure, yeah, I'll give you that. But like CBX didn't have a gun to their head to sign it. The 7 years was up, right? That's why we're talking here, because 7 years was up, and they were like, okay, should we renew, should we not? And they willfully gave them the 10%. The 10%, it's not like SM sued them for 10% because SM felt some type of way. They're like, oh, you know what? We billed them. Now they're making, let's charge them extra 10%. No, that's not what happened. The contract had a clause that 10% is going to go to SM. The guys read it, or their attorneys read it. They said, okay. They signed it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. That's
Unless
life.
we're missing information, like maybe they had no choice to sign, like this was the best they were gonna get, and they just
But that's still a choice, though. The other alternative go be an influencer.
That's true.
First, the paperwork. CBX wanted to fish through 13 years of EXO accounting. The judge said heck no, approved only the documents after the new agreement and tossed the rest as a desperate overreach. AKA the court told them to stay in their lane. That's a huge momentum ender, because it blocks them from using historical numbers.
I mean, that kind of makes sense too. Like, what does 13 years have to do with the current present situation? I get it.
To prove any systemic shady behavior from SM. And when you add the clause, the 10% IP fee is real, it's in writing. If CBX signed that garbage and used EXO branding to juice
Yeah.
their solo careers, a judge expects them to either pay the cut or prove that clause is illegal. So far, they've failed to do either. And meanwhile, SM? Stone cold silent, not a peep, just rolling out new EXO content like CBX never existed.
The clause is not illegal. It's just loan sharky, but it is legal clause. There's nothing illegal about that.
Scooping layback and like a trophy and feeding fans the EXO is thriving narrative to bury the lawsuit story in sugar. While CBX are shadow banned from their own group's comeback cycle, SM is playing chess with bloody knives. They don't need to say anything. The message is clear: sit down, shut up, and pay us, or stay gone. So where does that leave CBX? Still in the fight technically, there's room to negotiate, cap the percentage, limit how long it lasts, convert it into a one-time IP fee, whatever. They could also escrow the money and let the court decide where it lands. But as of October 29th, every sign says CBX is getting stonewalled and the courts have not handed them one single win to flex with. And honestly, I feel for them. I want them to win. I want SM's copyright death grip to finally lose its fangs. But SM is doing exactly what every legacy label does when its artists try to break the chain. Punish the rebels, elevate the loyalists, and smother the conversation with comeback news. It's calculated, it's cruel, it's K-pop. If you hate it, you're not wrong. If you're surprised, where the heck have you been? 2. The show is ending? Cute. But let's...
I'm just confused, like, why in this case SM is getting hate, but Hybe doing the same exact thing with New Jeans, identical. It's identical. Hybe is getting praise. But it's the same exact thing. There's a contract, the label is the label, the artist is the artist. The artist wanna breach the contract, the label saying no. It's the same thing. Yeah, sure, with New Jeans there was a whole Minhee Jin through other groups under the bus, but
you would say that Hybe is getting praise.
yeah, like everybody's on Hype sides. Only the bunnies are delusional on their sides. But now here it seems like everybody's on the CBX's side, which I mean I understand from like the human perspective. You want the guy because it's not right. Like morally it's not right, but legally it is right. That's what. Same with New Jeans. I said the same thing. I feel like morally it's not right, but they have no legal claim at it.
That's so tricky.
This is what it is. So I don't understand why we like, oh, everybody's supporting Hybe, but we're shitting on SM. I don't like SM. Like, to me, the artists are not good. I don't really like any of their artists that much. Aespa maybe, but I don't like the label. But it's correct is correct, and they are correct in this case.
Let's not act like this is just another programming update or a sweet lil Tuesday farewell. No, this is a direct middle finger to every mid-tier, low-budget, barely scraping promo cycle Nugu group still clawing for a freaking headline. So here's the cold reality. On October 24th, Korean outlets confirmed that the show is wrapping on November 11th, bringing its 14-year run to a close. Yes, 14 years of giving C-tier groups a fighting chance are gone.
It's me, your zit. No, I wouldn't miss your wedding for the...
And to make it extra annoying, the network had the gall
That's a
to
funny
toss in a
commercial.
seasonal ending under review caveat. Like, girl, shut up. You're not fooling anybody. English media saw through that PR drizzle and ran the real headline. The show is dead, and if you think this doesn't matter, you're either delusional or standing from privilege. This wasn't just a stage. This was survival infrastructure. When your group can't sniff a trophy on Inkigeo or Music Bank, the show was the last place where a solid fandom and decent digital numbers could still earn you a win, a trophy, a tweet, and 48 hours of oxygen. Now, that oxygen tank just got yanked. Good luck breathing baby groups. And this ain't a one-off either. Simply K-pop also got the axe in July after 13 years of giving Nugu acts and international rookies a stage. It had low production costs and was one of the few places that let a no-name group roll up with a USB and still get a decent stage. These weren't just shows, they were lifelines. And now they're being cut like fat from a boardroom budget sheet. This is a structural collapse, not a seasonal refresh. The numbers are right there. Mid-2025 saw a slump in digital consumption and a real wobble in physical sales. Survival shows that once minted new stars are now struggling to scrape 1% TV rate.
It probably shows that, the K-pop popularity is dwindling. Because I think, with BTS, just, when BTS came up, made K-pop global, it kind of got people interested in K-pop as a genre, so they just like started following the genre, so like including all the random new groups, they would get followed by default because it's part of the genre. But I think it reached a point where it's so repetitive that now it's you either unique and you have fan base, or you off a big label and you have fan base from your seniors that come down. Like for example, with Cordis is getting a lot of love from the army because they're part of like BTS. So it's either that or you like very unique. But if you like a small label and you don't stand out, then yeah, what we
you
doing
do.
here? So I think those labels, I think we're heading in that direction that's not gonna exist anymore. I think that's for the better, because I think those smaller labels are the ones that mostly
Abuse.
abuse the idols, yeah, because you know they don't have the money, and
They don't have the eyes on them too.
yeah, they
either.
don't have
They
the
can get
eyes, they
into
don't have
life.
the money, they can get away. Yeah, so I honestly I think this is good for K-pop. I don't think this is bad.
ratings. In that climate, a small-scale music show without mainstream pull is the first to go under the knife.
And
But
of
here's
course, you know, the monopoly, I guess in this case it's not a monopoly, it's a quadropoly, whatever, four big labels. You know, it's not exactly a good thing for any industry, but at the same time, it's not like those smaller labels are provide any value either. They just beat the kids, so it's like whatever. At this point, good riddance.
real kicker. It's expensive to promote on music shows. Even 5 years ago, CEOs were admitting that promo cycles were financial black holes. Styling, glam, vans, logistics,
What's
backup
interesting-
dancers, all
You know, I don't think people are talking about that. Like, what's the good side of them not being able to, thrive anymore?
Yeah, people just like feeling sad for them, but to me
Yeah.
it's like they can go chase another career where they're not gonna get abused. Like the dream might be dead, yeah, maybe, but if you are talented, you'll still get your dream. I think right now there's too many people getting their dream that don't have the talent. It's like if you take, I don't even know what an example to give. It's just, yeah, like there's too many people that are not that talented that are getting, you know, out there. But you can do
What do you call that? Everyone's getting a participation trophy.
right, yeah, because at the same, like especially social media, like influencers, and like with us, to be fair, I don't think like we're that talented. We're just like sitting here giving an opinion too, right? Like, but that's the whole point. Those people that are not that talented, that's fine, but you can go give your opinion. Then you go do a reaction channel or whatever.
You think I'm talented?
I don't know, Trish. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't really take any talent to do reactions. I'm being realistic here. Like, we just provide our opinion. People like it, they don't like it, they care for it, they don't care for it. It's whatever. It is what it is, you know?
for a 3-minute clip and maybe a Twitter trend. Now in 2025,
Like, I will say
everything's
this, it takes much more talent to be an idol than to give your opinion. No?
worse. Stage builds are pricier, labor is pricier, even the freaking vans are pricier. For small labels, that money's better spent on a Google Ads boost. So what's happening is simple. The platform changed, TV didn't. And instead of adapting, TV is just cutting losses and ghosting the acts who can't guarantee views. People say we still have M Countdown, Music Bank, and Inkigeo. Yeah, and those
Yeah,
shows
that's
cater to
enough.
the big dogs. The show was the one stage where girlies with sub 50K sales could breathe. Remove it and you've just locked the gate behind them. This isn't the end of music show promos. It's just the beginning of extreme gatekeeping. The latter is missing rungs and new acts are expected to go viral first and earn a seat at the table later. That's backwards. TV used to create the heat. Now it demands
Nah, never. Nowadays, it's like with social media, figure it out. If like the small labels want to make it, figure the social media.
Yeah.
Hire-
we've seen that
yeah,
done before.
Hire
It
a
just
social
takes
media
work.
expert. Like, who cares about TV? Let's be real. Like, who watches TV? We don't even have a TV. Like, we obviously have a televisor, like the item. We don't watch television, like the program. No, we don't. We have subscription services for that. Like, so who cares?
proof of virality before it even opens the studio doors. If you care about the ecosystem, not just Titans, but the middle class of K-pop, this is bad. 3. LESSERAFIM showed up on the Jennifer Hudson show and said, "You want camp? You want live vocals? You want synergy? Bet." And left no crumbs on that stage. First of all, the visuals. The colors were bright, the hair was
Yes,
switching,
the
the
visuals were
outfits
very
were
nice.
giving, and most shockingly, the camera work didn't suck. Yes, we need to clap for that cameraman
Yes.
because someone clearly attended K-pop stage
Yes.
filming for dummies and passed with honors. Zoomed in at the right
That's why I feel
moments,
like- 'cause I
caught the
feel
trend.
The excuse for aespa was that it just looked awkward, and the excuse always has been, "Oh, they know how to
Don't
film
bring
this,"
aespa. I purposefully in that reaction didn't bring aespa because I didn't want the aespa fans coming for. I don't.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's been an excuse.
There was 25 excuses for why aespa sucked, when in reality they just sucked.
But the thing is,
So-
that's fresh, so it's not like we shouldn't not talk about it.
It's just
That's fresh.
they just talk about it if you want. I guess I purposefully held back, not saying
Why?
nothing about aespa because I don't feel like it's right to drag them in. This is LESSERAFIM's moment. I don't want to make it about aespa. Let LESSERAFIM have it.
Okay.
So I don't want to compare. But if we are comparing, it's like day and night. LESSERAFIM was way better
It's
than
just
aespa.
also giving credit to the West that they can cater to
Fair, yeah.
foreign acts.
Yeah, they
You
can.
know?
Transitions.
It's just an excuse. Like aespa's fans, same as every K-pop group's fans, really. They like plenty of excuse. Something they went wrong, something they did wrong. Oh, but this is because 25 reasons.
Didn't miss a beat. I was like, wait, are we in Korea? And the girls? Fully live, like, literally zero backtrack, not a whisper of lip syncing. The mic was on and it was staying on, and they leaned all the way into the clowncore camp aesthetic, facial expressions for days, dramatics, confidence. They were delivering like their lives depended on it. And the vocal performance? Let's get into it. Sakura, Miss Girl shocked me. I won't lie to you. The bar has been low historically, but what she gave here wasn't just passable. It was actually present, clear delivery, better tone placement, and most importantly, confidence. Now don't get delusional. Sakura didn't suddenly morph into Wendy, okay? She's still not vocally strong. And if we're being brutally honest, the gene lottery didn't really bless her in that department. I once said Sakura's vocal genes must have gone out for a smoke break when vocal gifts were being handed out. But just like I said with Twice's Momo at the Victoria's Secret show, you can compensate for vocal limitations with energy, precision, and attitude. And Sakura brought all three. And it's actually funny how far she's come when you remember how stiff and robotic she was in Eyes 1. Like, she was center alongside one young Miss I Eat cameras for lunch herself. So the difference was painful, even in MVs. But now, in LESSERAFIM, she actually belongs on that stage. People clown her for being in the industry for over a decade and barely improving. But let's correct that. She only started training seriously after Eyes 1 ended. That girl was on survival shows more than she was in vocal class. Hybe finally put her through the ringer, and it shows. The improvement may not be technical excellence, but its presence.
Yeah, she was okay. I clogged her. I felt like she was the least capable. Like, her vocals was the worst, but it wasn't like, it was passable. Like, it wasn't.
Yeah, can you imagine you're an idol and you're passable?
That's most of the idols are passable. So there you have like the vocalist, the lead, the main vocalist, the two people that are good or okay. The rest is passable. So as long as you're passable, then that's fine.
She looks like she knows why she's on stage now. And speaking of transformations, that diva with the orange hair? Shaewon's rebrand is K-pop lore. We're talking the old Taylor can't come to the phone right now levels of metamorphosis. From the pastel sweet marshmallow fluff of Eyes 1 to the bossed up smoky-eyed force of LESSERAFIM. The range, her hair, her tone, her face, everything snapped into place. And this isn't shade to her past, okay? I gobbled up those Eyes 1 fairy songs like it was brunch. But in LESSERAFIM, Chaewon found her voice, and credit where credit is due. Hybe actually nailed this rebranding. As much as I want to slap them for half their crimes, this one they executed perfectly, because these aren't just wardrobe changes, they pulled off identity changes. That's hard to do in an industry that eats idols alive for daring to evolve. Now back to that Jennifer Hudson stage. The performance chemistry was tight. The choreo was clean, the expressions were locked in, and the delivery? Full send. They gave face like rent was due, and they clearly studied the cat's eye gnarly effect, because that elastic mugging, tongue out, bratty camp attitude was everywhere. And instead of crying they copied like brainless stands. I applaud them. That's how it's done. See something done well, absorb it, flip it, make it yours. That's growth. Not everything has to be a rip-off sob story. And let's give flowers to the rest. Yeonjun destroyed the live vocals, precision, projection, full leader energy. Kazuha, wow, she's getting more stable and more expressive. That tone during the slower sections? She's finding her lane. Unchai, girl is the definition of steady. She's never out of it, always present, and her vocals have gotten way more consistent. She's low-key the glue of that group. 4. Let's review Mion's pre-release Reno featuring Cold. Our girl said, forget your cute pastel solo debut. We're murdering men now, and I'm seated. Let's talk vocals first, because baby, this is why I ride for Mion. The control, the color, the way her delivery stabs you in the gut. It's magic.
I mean,
back in the day
it wasn't live, but at least the recording sounded good.
when she debuted, I couldn't unhear the rosy comparison either. The husky softness, the elegant cry. But Mion's got a totally different aura. She's brighter, bubblier.
She reminded her of Rosie.
Not visually, she's saying voice. Voice-wise, I don't know. I wasn't really comparing, but visually she gave me Jisoo big time. If you
Less
guys watch the
tortured artist and
reaction.
more vintage actress breaking down. She sounds like regret, like longing, like blood dripping on lace, and on Reno, it all clicks. The song itself? Stunning, not for the masses, and thank God. It starts off with that awkward little spoken word intro like we just walked in on Mion rehearsing for her off-Broadway moment, and then it slides into this dark theatrical monologue disguised as a ballad. It's giving slow jazz bar in the middle of nowhere. The melody just slinks, and Mion never oversings it. She lets the vibe do the work. It's a performance piece, not a playlist filler, and honestly, I'm so here for idols leaning into mood over mass appeal. She's not chasing streams, she's chasing art. And that MV? That's a multi-layered visual pace on feminine rage. The whole thing is styled like a diorama, literally like we're peering into Mion's crumbling psyche through a dollhouse window. It's so meta I wanted to scream. She's watching herself watch herself lose her mind. Someone get her a therapist and a Tony Award. You've got scenes that feel like dreams inside dreams. The dancers in veils swirling around her like psychotic thoughts. The party funeral hybrid where she's crying in rhinestones. The desert that's clearly fake but still feels haunting. The symbolism is heavy but intentional. Now, if I'm being messy, and I always am, this is exactly the kind of solo project more idols need to be doing. Take a risk, make a statement. Don't just drop another mid-tempo piano ballad with a rooftop MV and call it a day. No shade, yes shade. But too many solos are just overprocessed leftovers. Mion didn't give us that. She gave us theater.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Her solo was pretty good.
Okay. Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. As always,
Whatever you do,
share
it's
as
better
much
with
kindness as possible.